Night is falling, great Queen, the long day is o'er, and before thy beloved image I'm showing up once more, to thank you for keeping me safe through this day, to ask you this night to keep dishonour away. Dúchas Mórrígan aboo. That's a prayer that I say most evenings. It takes about 30 seconds, and there's no elaborate setup, no particular ritual around it, just a quiet moment at the threshold of night to acknowledge the day that's ending and to ask the Irish Goddess Mórrígan to hold the hours of sleep. I've been asked about it so many times over the years that I wanted to do a proper video on it. I did an old video on an old channel, so I'm updating it now. But this is a video where I can actually go into where it comes from, what I changed and why I changed it, and what it means in practice to build a daily devotional relationship with the Morrigan, rather than just having intense experiences once in a while. Because honestly, those are two different things, and I don't think that we talk enough about the difference. Well, I do, but I don't think everybody else does. So, who I am and where this is coming from. I am Reverend Lora O'Brien MA. I've been a priest of the Morrigan since 2004. I hold a Master's in Irish Regional History, and I've spent over 30 years in dedicated personal practice with this goddess. I teach at the Morrigan Academy, which is a specialist platform for working with the Morrigan, grounded here in the living Irish tradition and actual Irish sources, not Celtic reconstruction, not online goddess culture, not neo-paganism, just the actual relationship with the goddess from an Irish perspective. So the source prayer that I used for the prayer that I just gave you is adapted from an entry in Dúchas Schools Collection. That's our national folklore collection, which is one of the most important archives of everyday Irish life and belief that's in existence. Certainly one of the most accessible. We do have the physical archive at UCD, University College Dublin. But in the late 1930s, the Irish government did something right and organised a nationwide project in which primary school children were sent home to collect stories, customs, prayers, local knowledge, and traditional practices from their communities and families across the country. And the material that they brought back is absolutely extraordinary, and it definitely would have been lost without this initiative. And it's all available publicly there at duchas.ie, the link will be below, if you want to go looking for it. And the entry that this prayer comes from reads, and I'll read it specifically, "The following prayer is generally recited in the evening at the setting of the sun, and it was regarded as being the best prayer for ending of each day. The prayer itself begins, 'Night is falling, dear mother, the long day is o'er, and before thy loved image I'm kneeling once more, to thank thee for keeping me safe through the day, to ask thee this night to keep evil away.'" Now that's a Catholic prayer, obviously. It's addressed to the Virgin Mary, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise or dress it up as something more convenient or purely pagan. But here's what I've come to understand from 30 plus years of working in and with this native Irish tradition. The structure of the evening prayer at sunset, the gratitude before sleep, the asking for protection through the coming hours of darkness, that pattern is older than the church on this island. The early Irish church was remarkably skilled at absorbing existing ritual structures and reframing them in Christian language. So that liminal moment, that between the times moment of sunset, the threshold between one day and the next, was already a spiritually significant moment in Irish life, well before Christianity arrived. But what the church did was dress an existing practice in new clothes. So what we have in this prayer is a very old structure wearing a Catholic costume. And what I've done, and what I always do, is to take the structure back and dress it in clothes that fit the relationship that I actually have, which are true to the culture, of course. Not dressing it up as anything neo-pagan, just rewriting it and rewording it respectfully for my own personal use, and I am offering it for your own personal use. Please don't commercially use this, because that has happened to me multiple times, where my work that I do and my knowledge that I share is then made into an Etsy poster or something. So please don't do that. Everything that I do, everything that I give completely for free or in any of my paid programs is given for your personal use only. So unfortunately, I have to put that disclaimer in. But what I changed about the original prayer and why I changed it, we start with Dear Mother and it becomes Great Queen. The Morrigan is not my mother, and that framing implies a relationship built on like unconditional nurturing and forgiveness and tender care, like some divine parent who's always on your side regardless of what you do and always ready to help you regardless of what else is going on for her. That is not the Morrigan's nature. It's not her function in the tradition. And starting the prayer with that word, mother, would mean starting from a false premise about who I'm talking to. Great Queen is a translation of one of the meanings of her name. It could be Great Queen, it could be Phantom Queen, depending on which etymology you're following and what aspect you're working with, perhaps. But addressing her as the Great Queen places her correctly. It honours her and it names the actual relationship that she offers from the first line. Now, kneeling before the Virgin Mary becomes showing up. Personally, I don't kneel before the Irish gods. This one gets misread constantly, so I want to be really direct about it. It's not a statement about pride. It's not some kind of refusal to be humble. It's not anything like that. For me, being raised in Ireland in a predominantly Catholic culture, kneeling before a divine figure carries a body memory that has absolutely nothing to do with the Morrigan, and it carries ancestral trauma as well. It's connected to Mass, to confession, to a very specific kind of submission, especially as a female presenting person, that was not always chosen or healthy, was very rarely healthy. And it left marks on a lot of Irish people, whether they're aware of it or not. So importing that body memory, that ancestral trauma into my practice with the Morrigan would mean bringing the wrong thing entirely into this relationship, where I use showing up, which is honest. It's what I'm actually doing when I stand before her image at the end of the day, before the altar that I've created that lives beside me in my workplace. I'm accountable. I'm here. And that's what she's getting from me. Now, from the original prayer, the evil becomes dishonour, because the binary of good and evil is very much a Christian moral framework, and it's not a framework that Irish tradition before Christianity really operated within, this black and white good and evil situation. Honour and dishonour are not a softened version of the same thing. They're fundamentally a different way of understanding human behaviour and its consequences. And here in our early Irish society, honour was embedded in your relationships, your obligations, your standing within your community and your clan and your tua. So dishonour wasn't an abstract spiritual failing. It was a very concrete social and legal rupture if you dishonoured yourself or dishonoured anybody else, dishonoured your tua, dishonoured your kin, there were real consequences in the world that you lived in. So when I ask the Morrigan to keep dishonour away, I'm asking for something very specific, something that I can actually act on. It names a standard that I'm trying to meet, not just a vague danger that I'd like to avoid. Now, the Irish closing, what I said was Mo Dúchas Mórrígan Abu, and it means roughly my love to you, the Morrigan, forever. But Abu is a word that you'll hear attached to like a county name at a Gaelic match, for example, Waterford Abu, say. It means forever, and its feeling is somewhere between a rallying cry and a declaration of allegiance. It's not a solemn battle cry in this context, like Berbua might be. It's warmer than that, and it says, I'm on your side, I'm yours, and I mean this. Using Irish language, Gaeilge, for me in my devotional practice really matters because she is an Irish goddess and I'm an Irish person in Ireland, and that living connection to this language, which was seriously in danger of being lost through colonial violence for centuries, if not millennia. It's a part of keeping the practice rooted in something real rather than something that's imagined. And it is a point of honour to address an Irish goddess in the Irish language. So that's a lot, Laura. That's a lot to be getting on with. But what I want to give you very clearly is how to use this in your own practice. I am very much about making sure that you have the practical tools. You don't have to come through me. I am a priest of the Morrigan for certain, but my job is to help you to form your own right relationship with the Morrigan or any of the Irish traditions, culture. I am holding open the gate. Technically, I'm a gatekeeper, but I'm holding it open so that you can enter this beautiful cultural garden respectfully and authentically, and you can enjoy what's here and you can learn and grow and make use of it in a way that is non-appropriative and that is true to the gift that's being given, and it's honourable. So I want you to approach and build relationship with Irish culture, Irish tradition, particularly with this goddess that I have dedicated my entire life to, in an honourable way. So that's why I make these videos. That's why I do everything at the Morrigan Academy. That's why I built the Irish Pagan School with my partner, John. Anyway, how to use this in your practice. This prayer really works at sunset, and it works just before you sleep, because in the older Irish understanding of the day, sunset was the beginning of the new day, which means that it was also the natural close of the working hours, very much that threshold moment. So whether you catch actual sunset or you're saying this in the dark at 10 or 11 at night, the orientation that you're aiming for is the same. The day is done, you're accounting for it, and you're asking her to hold what comes next. So you don't need an altar for this. If you have one, use it by all means. A single candle or even a little light is enough if you want something to focus on. Even just the stillness and the honest intention that you're bringing to it will do. The repetition over time of the prayer is part of what makes it work, because you say it enough evenings and it becomes its own threshold, something that marks the shift from the day's work to the resting time and signals to your whole system that the day is complete and accounted for. And as a spiritual practice, this is very psychologically sound. It's very grounding. You're ending with gratitude. You are giving your spiritual self, the sustenance and the closure that you need from the day, as well as your stress levels, you're winding down, you're building your melatonin. Ritual repetition at liminal time. It's not superstition, it's applied psychology rooted in very, very old human practice. And this is a daily practice. So daily practice is not the same as high ritual or significant working or cosplaying with a lot of ritual temple nonsense, right? It's quieter than that, and it's more essential than that, because it's actually what you do day after day in just ordinary time in your ordinary life. Because sustained ordinary work, the mundane, is always what builds the relationship with the Morrigan. But it actually, if you think about it, is how you build any relationship with anybody, with any human being that you would have a relationship with, or with any god, guide, guardian, ancestor, spiritual entity, anything that you want to build relationship with. It has to be done consistently, and it has to be part of your everyday life. So if you want to work with the Morrigan at this level, building your own personalized practice that's grounded in the Irish sources and in lived experience, in the guidance that I can give you, but very much built to suit you and your life and your position in the world and all of that. And you want to build it in right relationship with who the Morrigan actually is, rather than who the internet says that she is or projects that she is, then the Morrigan Intensive is the best place for that work to happen. We have 6 months of curriculum, primary sources, community, and consistent practice that's taught by me from here in Ireland. I'm here in County Waterford. The link to the waiting list is in the description below, and I will see you in the next video. Slán.